It is November 15th of 1966 at about 11:30 p.m. and the couples Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette are on a joyride in their black 1957 Chevy. And during this time, they traveled through the abandoned West Virginia Ordnance Works, once a World War II munitions plant north of Point Pleasant. And as they passed by an old powerhouse, Steve would see the cryptid with his own eyes. And he described it as a 6 to 7 foot humanoid figure with a 10-foot wingspan and muscular legs, said to be built like a man but only larger. Linda described when it moved, it wobbled about as if it couldn't keep its balance, but this was only for a short time before it finally gave chase. Panic erupted as Roger sped away, and the Mothman took off after them like a helicopter, keeping up at over 100 miles an hour. And during this time, they could hear the terrifying screech of wings scratching against the roof. The chase would continue until they reached the edge of town, after which they went straight to Deputy Millard Halstead to describe the events. It was said that even the deputy was experiencing strange phenomena, with his radio making unexplainable lights and static, adding to the eerie tension. The next morning, the deputy's press conference made top headlines, coining the term Mothman in reference to the winged creature. This sighting triggered a town-wide frenzy, with everyone and their grandma getting out their guns to hunt down the creature. Over the next year, there were over 100 sightings around Point Pleasant, but they all mysteriously stopped after the Silver Bridge collapse in December of 1967. This event occurred during 5 p.m. during rush hour when a single eye-bar about 2.5 inches thick cracked due to stress corrosion, collapsing the whole structure due to a domino effect. And unfortunately, as a result, 46 people would lose their lives as vehicles descended into the icy river, and this was known as one of the worst U.S. bridge collapses at the time. He claimed to see Mothman flying or near the bridge days or weeks before the collapse, and as I mentioned, after this, the sightings of Mothman would cease completely. Paranormal believers believe that Mothman could be a harbinger and omen warning of the coming tragedy, while skeptics believe it could be mass hysteria caused by mass misremembering. But despite of what you think about Mothman, his legacy is undeniable, and to see that we have to look no further than Point Pleasant itself, a small river town of only 4,000 people that boldly reinvented itself into America's prime example of a cryptid town. In 2002, the inaugural Mothman Festival launched with just a few booksellers and vendors with the intent of bringing back attention to the struggling Main Street. And then in 2003, the now iconic 12-foot metal Mothman statue was installed downtown, providing a bold mascot and a selfie destination. This has nothing to do with the video, but I also want to point out that people do weird things to this statue. And then in 2005, the Mothman Museum opened, featuring artifacts, eyewitness records, and exhibits, and all of this generates 12,000 to 20,000 visitors and $2 million in revenue. And so, whether or not Mothman is a warning monster or myth, he remains one of the most appreciated cryptids in Point Pleasant and online.